is the main event.
This is the main event. Mark's podcast, now on the Unhinged Network. I am your first host, former radio guy, lifelong wrestling fan, and the father of 6 cats, Troy. And my co-host, he is the WWE Walking Wrestling Encyclopedia and the main event collector. He is the Funaki to my Takamishinoku. He's Greg. What's up, Greg?
Cool, I'm the better one for once.
In what world is Funaki better than Taka?
Was he not the number 1 announcer on SmackDown?
Oh, for God's sake. Indeed.
I win.
Sure. I mean, he is still employed with WWE, I'll say that. Doesn't necessarily make it better, but sure. Why are we arguing over which one of these guys sucked less?
You started it. I just flat out said my opinion, and you made it a thing. So,
yeah, gosh. All right. But anyway, we're talking about Royal Rumble 2000 today, which kind of was not. I
was like, and they do have a significant role.
Yeah, Kanetai was not booked on the show technically, but they are on the show for a reason. Man, this was.
Hey, they have more entrances than anybody else on the show.
That is true. No lies detected, I guess. It just, wow. Yeah, they are not the focal point of the show, thank God, though.
Should be.
Yeah, the focal point of the show is all about, you and I talked about the year 2000 was kind of the year of The Rock, where, I mean, obviously he was a big deal before this and after this, but it seemed like he has...
Let's also keep in mind that Austin was out most of 2002, so...
Well, that's true, yeah. So, I mean, there's that. And we actually have a news story about that, but, The Rock really was like the guy in 2000. He was the top babyface, and Triple H was the top heel, I'd say. And you got others mixed in there, obviously, with Big Show and whatnot, going back and forth. But all in all, this was The Rock and Triple H's banner year.
Can we acknowledge how lucky they were that they had The Rock when Austin went down?
I know, yeah.
Like they had another megastar waiting. When's that ever happened before or after?
Yeah, well, that was people's argument with like when Cena went down in the past, and obviously he's superhuman, so they were like, oh, he's gonna be out a year, and he'd come back in like 3 months. But regardless, people would complain. It's like, well, when Cena's out, ratings go down because it's like, I mean, you got Orton, but he's not the guy. It's like, who else do you have? Obviously now they have Roman, but there for the longest time it was Cena. He was it. I'd heard multiple people say it's like Rock was great, but when Austin was gone and Rock took over, we were still kind of like, well, crap, Austin's gone. What do we do? Rock was the second guy. He wasn't the guy. And I think he played his part really well, and he eventually became the guy when it seemed like Austin was gone, but I don't know. However, 2000 had some good stuff, had some bad stuff, but it had some really good stuff. Obviously not on the WCW side. Last week, we talked about Sold Out 2000. This week is the WWF's effort, I think a week or two later, with a Royal Rumble. So, you ready to dive into news and notes?
Considering what this year was, I don't know if I'm ready, but go for it.
All right. Well, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, news and notes.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show. Now that we're back, before we get into all the news and notes, make sure you visit unhingedsn.com to hear us every Monday at 8 p.m. That's UNHINGEDSN.com.
News and notes time for January of 2000. This first story, I didn't even know this was a thing. I always love it when you preface it with that. I was really shocked, and it's like, because, I mean, it's not like I followed this guy's short career, but it's just like, wow. Bobby Duncombe Jr. died this week at 34 years old from a drug overdose. Duncombe Jr. had been out of action for several months, recovering from surgery, and had been had been off of TV long enough that WCW barely felt the need to acknowledge his death. He leaves behind 2 kids and a wife with whom he was in the process of divorcing. Yikes.
Yeah,
34.
I remember just remembering, like, what the hell happened to him? Like, it was just Kurt Hennig and, was it Kendall Windham? They were the team?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what happened to Bobby? Like, that was, the West Texas Rednecks were a thing.
Right.
Pretty significant. They were all over TV. It's not like they were just, were they comedy? Yeah, but they were on heavily.
I mean, if anybody goes back and listens, the show wasn't great. I thought we did a good job of reviewing it and made it entertaining. But we reviewed...
That's a Barry Horowitz ourselves.
Right. We reviewed Road Wild 99, which was the last Road Wild ever, because we replaced with New Blood Rising this year, 2000. And Bobby Duncombe Jr. was on the show. So
that's August and we're in January, so it's only a couple of months.
Yeah, he got injured and literally killed himself within a few months. And that's why it hit me reading the story, because I'm like, we just reviewed a show with him on it that was. Yeah,
and it's funny you say they didn't even acknowledge it, because I really don't remember them talking about it. I really don't.
Yeah. But anyway, speaking of drugs, it's a bad way to start the story, but you'll see why.
That is a bad segue, but yes.
Ian Rotten is starting back up his IWA promotion and will be running weekly hardcore shows in Charleston, Indiana. Rotten owns the new building that they'll be doing shows at, so he won't run into any more problems with anyone finding venues that will allow his Gorefest matches.
Okay, time out. How the hell did he afford a venue, to buy?
His Taco Bell money, I'm guessing. I don't know. For people that don't get the reference, he worked at Taco Bell for the longest time until they found out he had hepatitis and they fired him.
The previous Impact X Division champion works at GameStop, okay? So it's not that bad.
Yeah, I know it's ECW, but it's like, dude, you're on TV for years, man, and now you're working at Taco Bell. You also run your own professional wrestling promotion. And I know what we were just saying about, Gorefest matches. And keep in mind, IWA is a freaking joke. Was, is, and forever will be a joke. So many people have had horror stories about Ian Rotten backstage, in the ring, etc., and his inability to pay people.
I can't believe someone have a horror story about a guy named Rotten. That just baffles my mind.
It shocks me too. But regardless, but it did have a lot of great stuff, like CM Punk and Chris Hero had a lot of great matches there. I think Eddie Guerrero wrestled there for a while. It did have some good stuff, but it's like ECW. You have to dig through mountains of crap to find the good stuff. I think I want to say in his Best in the World documentary, CM Punk actually talks about the epic matches he had with Chris Hero across the country for IWA. So, yeah, this was, Jim Cornette talked about this where he said,
I already don't care.
Well, I guess IWA ran shows in Kentucky until they found out the crap that Ian Rotten was doing. They called him before a committee. Basically it was like, why should we not pull your license to run shows here in Kentucky? And according to Jim Cornette, which sounds very factual, given Ian Rotten's track record, but he says Rotten basically cut a promo on the commission, and they yanked his license, and he went over to Indiana across the river and started up over there instead. And Cornette said because of Ian Rotten and his bullcrap, it was extremely hard for places like OVW, who actually did wrestling, to run shows in Kentucky. To this day, they are one of the strictest athletic commissions in the entire country because of people like Ian Rotten. You want to hear about something else that just piles on the crap?
Can it get worse than this?
Maybe. The Insane Clown Posse's Juggalo Champion... I'm gonna bleep this out. I'm gonna have to. Insane Clown Posse's Juggalo Championship Wrestling will be released, and no, I didn't misspeak. It's spelled with a T, not a P. They will be releasing a video of the event that they held last month in Detroit. Raven, Balls Mahoney, Abdullah the Butcher, King Kong Bundy, Iron Sheik, and more all made appearances. You know,
Man,
the usual suspects.
Talk about asses in seats.
Right. I heard Balls Mahoney and Abdullah the Butcher, man. I'm there. Also on their website, ICP announced that Vampiro is planning to leave WCW to wrestle full-time for JCW, and they plan to self-finance the company and tour nationally with it. That didn't happen. I mean,
thank God.
I don't know if they're still around. They eventually changed the name to Championship with a P Wrestling.
Oh, I bet that saved it.
Oh yeah, well, it made it more marketable, Greg. It made it more appealing to investors. This just
who the hell would invest in that?
Fago. Do you remember? I'm old enough to remember when Netflix, mailed out DVDs. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Well, I had that for a while, or rather, my parents did. And I was like, okay, I keep hearing about this. It's like, oh, it's funny. You got to listen to the commentary, whatever, which was ICP using fake names on commentary. So I got one of the DVDs and I watched it. I didn't laugh once. I was like, this is complete garbage. It's not funny. It's just them making fun of their own product while it's happening.
The fact that you had to hear it for yourself to know it was garbage is shocking to me.
Oh, it's like, the old school ECW shows that people rave about. It's like, okay, enough people play it up. I've at least got to see it for myself. It's like, crap. I knew it was going to be crap. I just didn't know.
There are some things that I just know are going to be crap. Like, I don't like hearing, oh, this person said it, therefore I'm not going to watch it. I hate that. But
right.
Something tells me people saying, hey, ICP on commentary is bad. I could take that to the bank.
I kept hearing from multiple people, dude, ICP on commentary is the only good thing about the show. It's hilarious. I'm like, okay,
that alone is a bad sign, and that's the best thing about the show.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, it's funny. You got to hear it. And I don't know. Ready to move on to the crap that was WCW?
Am I?
Yeah, I like your enthusiasm. Am I?
We've already reviewed the pay-per-view of this month, so I got a feeling I know where it's going.
And there's more.
How is that even remotely possible, you ask? Here we go.
Yep. Well, the company remains in chaos this week. No. I know this is audio.
I thought that pay-per-view would fix all their problems.
Right, yeah. The savior of WCW was sold out.
Oh, man.
I know this is audio and nobody can see me right now, but I'm doing the Kevin face from Home Alone right now. I'm shocked. But the company offered unconditional releases to Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn, Shane Douglas, and Conan, which would free them up to start with the WWF as soon as February 1st. So,
but they actually debuted before February 1st, though.
Yeah. So, wait, hold on, Greg. Are you telling me that Uncle Dave was ill-informed?
I think the Red Rooster got it wrong, yes.
False, Greg. How dare you? You should be flogged and walk naked through the streets with somebody yelling, shame! Shame!
Oh, there's an image.
Benoit, Malenko, Guerrero, and Saturn obviously did go to the WWF, as you said. Douglas and Conan actually remained in WCW, so yeah, that didn't happen. So they were granted releases and then said, never mind.
Apparently Douglas was going, and then there's a whole thing on Pritchard's podcast. You listen to the Radicals episode.
Yeah, well, the thing was, Pritchard just said that it was, I guess it all relied on the first four there bringing him along with them, and they didn't. And then, according to Pritchard, Douglas never reached out himself. So he didn't even, test the waters. And Conan, I don't think he tested the waters either, because Pritchard said he didn't get a call until after WCW was fully shut down. So,
well, apparently he called and said this is K-Dog, and he had no idea who the hell K-Dog was.
Yeah, well, and he said that, but if I remember the timeline correctly, he said that was after WCW was shut down.
I thought it was at this time.
Maybe it was. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. So, Yeah, I don't know. Whereas if you listen to Conan's rebuttal of that, he was like, "What do you think? I'm an effing mark? I'm not going to call up and say, yo, this is K-Dog, yo." And it's like,
I don't know why, but I can see him doing that.
about to get rowdy in his body, you know what I'm saying? Yo, put Brother Love on the phone.
I think Pritchard speaks fluent Spanish, too, so there's literally no excuse.
I know. Conan swears up at that. He was like, I called and I said who the hell I was. He's like, I think I even gave my legal name, and he knows who I am by name. So he's like, there's no excuse. He's like,
this is Max Moon.
What the hell? Vince Russo also had a meeting with Bill Bush this week, making a series of demands. Because if there's one person who needs to make demands, it's Vince Russo.
Give him whatever he wants. We need him.
Yeah, by the way, if you guys hadn't listened to last week's episode, Bill Bush was not a part of the beer-making family Bush. And he was also not related to the guys who drive NASCAR. So he either wants to be released from his contract, which still has nearly 2 years on it, or he wants to be given a job back as head booker with full control and not be forced to work alongside Kevin Sullivan or J.J. Dillon. He also demanded to be given another 9 months to continue booking the show without interference from anyone else. When Russo was hired, he was basically told that he'd be given a year to run things around, but he just got the boot after 3 months, so he wants to get another 9 months. So it was so bad, they sent him home after 3 months into a 2-year contract, I think they said. So, yikes.
And he only started in October 99, by the way. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, started in October. He was gone, man. Gone forever, bro, by the end of December.
So it was less than 3 months.
Yeah. Well, because you pointed out he wasn't booking Sold Out. So I think maybe he was gone at the end of December? I don't know.
even think he had a hand in Starrcade, honestly.
I don't know. I really don't. I know he was... I think he went home right before Sold Out, because there was that story we talked about last week where he wanted the vacant title to be decided in a battle royal with Tank Abbott winning the belt. So, I don't know.
Okay, now it makes all the sense in the world why that Starrcade sucked then. Okay.
Yeah, so he got sent home after he pitched Tank Abbott, and they said, that's it, we're done. That's bad. It's like, they hated that suggestion so bad that was the final straw.
And then they ended up having Tank Abbott in a match with Jerry Flynn.
Yeah, at least it only went a minute and a half. So there's that. Hey, if you want to hear about all that epicness, go back and listen to last week's episode.
I won't judge you if you don't, but please listen. Just have it on in the background. Give us a hit.
Right.
Man, that match sucked.
And it was only a minute and a half. One of the big issues where Vince Russo and Kevin Sullivan clashed was over how they used Goldberg. Russo wanted to keep the title off of Goldberg for as long as possible, feeling that there's more money in him chasing the belt. Sullivan wanted to put the title on Goldberg immediately, as soon as his arm heals and he can get back in the ring. Okay, first off, arm healing. Was this where he punched through the window of the limo?
Fairly certain, yes.
Oh my gosh. Nobody ever accused Goldberg of being a smart man. That was just...
I don't know. All the money he's gotten over the years.
Yeah, well, you know why he got all that money, Greg? Because he hired the right guy. According to Eric Bischoff, Hulk Hogan was like, hey, you should use my agent. And there you go. But, yeah, so he was like, oh, my bat broke, so I'm going to punch through a window. Smart guy. But, yeah, so didn't he, tear tendon, or damn near tear tendons or some crap like that? I know he messed himself up.
I heard he almost had to sever his whole arm.
Yeah. Moron. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about that? 'Cause, I mean, I can see the appeal of putting the title on Goldberg, but at the same time, can't believe I'm saying this, mark down the date. I kind of agree with Russo here. I feel like there's more money in the chase of Goldberg going after it.
I don't know. He was their biggest star.
He was.
Go either way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
And considering the title went to Sid, and I like Sid, but I might have had to go with Sullivan on this one.
Yeah.
Only because they had no other option, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I don't disagree with putting the title on Goldberg. I think putting the title on Goldberg for a time was fine. Get it off of him by dubious circumstances. and then give him a long chase. Like, have him keep getting screwed out of it, and he keeps having to chase. Because, I mean,
it didn't really matter at this point because they're about to have 47 champions this year.
Oh, God, I know. You and I, in a previous podcast that we no longer do, kind of ran down. We did a face to heel turn count, and we did a new champ count.
I think we ended up with like 38 heel turns.
Yeah.
I'm not even lying with that number, by the way.
Swerves, bro.
Or 38 turns per year, not just heel, but either way. But
yeah.
38.
and then the title counter.
I'm pretty sure the number was 26 title changes, world title changes.
Yeah, it was pathetic. How do you think Booker T won his first title at Bash at the Beach? They closed down less than a year later, and he was a 5-time champ by the time they shut down.
To be fair, he was a 4-time champ by the time they shut down. He won the 5th one in WWE from Kurt Angle.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, that's okay. Well, either way. Ric Flair has been talking about running for governor of North Carolina and has to make a final decision this week. Word is that he's leaning against it, despite a lot of mainstream news coverage talking about the possibility lately. A newspaper poll in Greensboro found that 25% of voters said that they would vote for him, while another poll in Charlotte was at 39%. Speaking of Flair, he once again asked for his release from WCW, pointing out that they freely released Benoit, Guerrero, etc. when they asked. But WCW shot it down, so Flair's still stuck. And he would be until they close the doors.
Don't worry, the Magnificent Seven's coming. They'll make him happy.
The what?
That was the name of his group. The Magnificent Seven.
Oh, I thought they were the Millionaires Club.
That was before that, actually.
Oh, for God's sake. How did they get away with using the... Well, Turner had to own that name. Or the film, or whatever. That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, Flair running for governor, man. Can you imagine those speeches?
Wasn't Ventura already governor?
Yes.
Oh, that was why, probably?
Yeah. Whatever he can do, I can do. Woo! Like, no? Like, your political speeches can't involve you talking about your male genitalia.
This intern's gonna ride Space Mountain.
Yeah. I did not sleep with that intern. We were up all night.
I think he mixed a couple there, but...
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, here's one for you, man. WCW brought back the Kiss Demon character at the Saturday night tapings, but this time, Dale Torborg was playing the role instead of Bryan Adams. Oh, well, thank God.
I would actually see a Demon match the next month, I believe.
You attended a WCW event in 2000?
Yes, Super Brawl.
Oh, my. I'm sorry.
That was the famous Skins match where Tank Avenue almost stabbed a man.
How did you... What? No, Greg. He had scissors and was threatening to cut his beard, which he didn't have.
That's right. Yes.
He threatened to cut a beardless man's beard. Oh, my gosh. Even though he literally leaned in and said, I will effing kill you. Do you remember what you thought watching that live, by the way, in person?
Oh, well, because of the seats I was in, I didn't see like the knife or anything. I didn't even know about that until I saw it on... Here's another throwback. Until I saw it on VHS months later.
What the hell is VHS? Come on. What?
It was this big, like, rectangular square with, like, film in it, and you can put it in a machine, and... Yeah. It shows, like, the event. It's weird. Throw it in your Google machine.
I don't know, man. What was better, Bryan Adams as the Kiss Demon or in Chronic?
I didn't hate Chronic, so I'll say Chronic.
I liked the team. I did not like the concept, but yeah. This one...
They were smoking J's.
God. Last story at WCW here. Doctors have told Bret Hart to stay out of the ring for at least 2 months following his severe concussion at Starrcade last month. He's still not even allowed to fly, so he hasn't been able to travel to TV tapings lately either. The plan for Super Brawl was Hart versus Sid Vicious for the WCW title, but they're clearly going to have to come up with something else now. What did they do?
Was that the triple threat?
You were there.
I can't remember. Do you think I want to remember this crap?
Yes?
I remember the Demon being in the quote main event, and it was the second match on the card. I remember that because I kept going, "Why? How is this the main event?" Hang on.
I don't know. Yeah, it was a three-way dance. It was
Jeff Jarrett,
Scott Hall, Jeff Jarrett.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the record, I remembered it before I pulled it up. So
yeah.
Remember, I was at 4 Super Brawls. So kind of them run together. A lot of them run together.
Well, do you remember the James Brown appearance?
Yeah. I remember vividly thinking, okay, first of all, I didn't know who he was really.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like 15 here, so I mean, like, I'm aware of him, but I'm like, oh, that's just some guy being him, right? Turned out it was really him.
Yeah, right.
But you can see why I would think that.
Right. We're going to have to talk about that show someday, just mostly because you were there. You've attended a lot of crap throughout the years.
Okay, in my defense, they put a lot of crap here. It's not like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you attended the Punjabi, or no, you didn't. No,
I wish.
No, what was the one? House of Horrors you attended. That was it.
Yeah, I was apparently pissed off my mom because I took her with me to that.
Yeah, they were like, "Happy Mother's Day, Mom. F you." The saddest part about
Jericho's last title win in WWE, that was nice. So.
Yeah, I'll say the saddest part about this story is they don't know yet. Bret Hart's career is over. So,
and if I'm correct, his last match ever was a clunker against Kevin Nash on Nitro.
Oh, did he have one more match? Oh, wait,
yeah,
no, that's right. He continued to wrestle.
I don't even think it was a match though. I think it was just like a fight, something like that.
Yeah, man, what a way to go out against Kevin Nash.
Hey, I like Nash.
I do too. He was always one of my favorites, but again, he's never been accused of being a great wrestler. I mean, he's got the 5 moves of doom. Flipper punch. The hair flip, and he has said if he were to add a 6th move of doom, it would be teabagging Jim Cornette. So, moving on to the WWF stuff here, we have a couple of stories. China will appear on the TV show Third Rock from the Sun very soon, and this is the most 2000 story I've ever read. Isn't Third Rock from the Sun on a streaming service on HBO Max or something?
It's on one of them, yeah. I feel like every show is on something now, so.
Yeah. But anyway, WWF New York, their restaurant in Times Square, had their big grand opening last week, and basically every star in the company was there. The band Sugar Ray also performed. The Rock cut promos, etc. Man, I might have used that 2000, the most 2000 story I ever read.
I was just thinking, I'm like, are you sure? Like, because you just said Sugar Ray.
Right. What better way to kick off the opening of your hot new restaurant in Times Square but to bring in Sugar Ray?
Dude, you joke, but they were hot as hell in 2000s, dude.
I know, I was a big fan.
They were good musicians, too.
The hell. But yeah, we'll actually talk about WWF New York in the show. Last story here. Steve Austin is already working out post-surgery and is running on a treadmill already. He's been told that he should make a full recovery, but they told him that he'll need about 6 months to recover. Austin is hoping to be back in 3 months. Not even close.
Let's see, this is 8 months? Yeah. September.
Oh, he came back in September?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I couldn't remember exactly when he came back. I just knew it definitely wasn't 3 to 6 months.
Well, he was back on TV in September. He didn't wrestle until October, so.
Yeah. No. Most of 2000, like we said, was Austinless. So they had to learn to survive.
I think they were fine.
Yeah, they did. I think they did okay. It helped a little bit that they had 0 competition. So,
hey, WCW was still a thing.
It was out there, but it was not competition. Let's be very clear about that. Well, let's take.
Actually, might even argue that AEW is more competition right now than WCW was in 2000.
Well, yeah,
I'm trying to be funny.
Well, yeah, because AEW is not pulling in competition numbers, but they're pulling in at least WCW 2000 numbers. So,
well, they're consistently beating AEW show.
Right. Yeah, I think they've pretty much pulled away with that one.
I just like, man, WCW was so bad.
Abso-freaking-lutely they were. I think we're going to take our next break here, and when we come back, we're going to dive into WWF Royal Rumble 2000.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show. Now that we're back, before we dive into the event at hand, make sure you visit unhingedsn.com to hear us every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's UNHINGEDSN.com.
All right, WWF Royal Rumble 2000 from January 23rd, 2000. The tagline, "The Road to WrestleMania Begins." The venue was Madison Square Garden in New York, New York, and the attendance was 19,231. But the buy rate was 1.58, which amounted to 590,000 buys. That's nuts. By the way,
once again, Mick Foley kicks WCW's ass.
Right. We'll get to that in a second. But they sold out MSG with a gate of over $1.14 million, making it the sixth largest ever in the U.S.
Did they call it the Road to WrestleMania? I missed that. Did they actually say that?
Well, the tagline of the show is actually "The Road to WrestleMania Begins."
I want to say this is the first time ever they used that, at least as an official line, because I don't remember for '99, because it was all about No Chance in Hell in '99. Just
right.
That'd be a historic fun fact.
Yeah, and I really like the design. They really go with the road thing, because I mean the entranceway is a road, I even like that.
Sorry, whichever Royal Rumble they used in Detroit, I think it was like 9, 10, one of those. The whole rampway was like a freeway, which I thought was really cool.
I'll have to go back and check that out because I forget.
The one where Rob Van Dam makes a surprise return, I remember that. So.
Okay. Well, this one, I thought it was a nice added touch where they even put a manhole cover in the middle of the entryway. I freaking loved that. I was like, wow, just like a small detail.
The nerd in me was getting like Ninja Turtle vibes, I'm not going to lie. It's New York, there's a cab, there's manholes.
It would have been funny if somebody just like, if they made it like, there was like a couple inches under that and they just pulled up the manhole and dropped a piece of pizza under there. But yeah, it was really cool. They had like the taxi cab that you walked under in the entryway. That to this day, one of my top five of favorite pay-per-view sets, by the way. Yeah, they were really limited with MSG. Like we talked about before, the old way the MSG looked, they were really limited with what they could do with it, as far as like the look and the setup and whatever. But they did a lot. I mean, we reviewed now in the archives SummerSlam '98, where it was like it looked like you're walking through the gates of hell to get to the ring. They did a lot. The first time I remember them changing it up, though, because they always came out that one area that they're coming out here, like out of the side. Mm-hmm. And hard cam always faced it, which we'll talk about a little bit on this show, and we talked about it last week. Even. My favorite story about that is Bruce Pritchard. Bruce Pritchard hates it, like with a passion. He loves the garden, but hates that. Yeah, because you can see people walking up and down the ramp all freaking night. People are walking in front of hard cam. It's horrible. Which is a problem they had on the WCW show from the same month that we just reviewed. Right. And what was the Royal Rumble where Cena made his big return? That was 2008. Okay, yeah, and I remember they came out this same area. So you know what's telling me about that? What was telling to me about that too is like they gave up on the guardrails, if you notice, because when the fans are celebrating, there's like those little things holding them back that you would see in like a line at a bank. Those little retractable things. Yeah. Yeah. Go if you ever go back and watch it, you can see the front row on the entrance way is held back by those. Wow. I just thought that was funny. They must have switched it back and forth because I remember WrestleMania 20 was the first time I saw them not use that area, and they managed to get a legitimate stage and ramp on the other side. I remember seeing that thinking, man, they probably gave up a lot of seats for that, though. I'm sure they did. I think that's why they always use that one area that they're using on this show. Getting back to the show here, though, like the opening package even said, like you pointed out, we've talked about that Mick Foley does not get enough credit with his hand in all of the Monday Night Wars. It seemed like he was always doing something pretty significant.
Well,
when
yeah, I like
they
pointing
whooped
out.
ass.
I like pointing out the first time they beat Nitro, he got involved in the Austin McMahon match. The thing that turned the tide for them was the finger poke of doom. Then they fully won the title. So
Right.
it's like every significant moment and he was on the last show, I believe, too. I believe he's on the last Nitro Raw Monday, not doing anything, but he was on there. So it's
Yeah. So I mean, there was a lot of Foley that people brush over. They talk about Undertaker, Austin, Rock, which and McMahon, which were huge parts of it, but people don't give Foley his due.
I think it's a shame too. We met him at WrestleCon. Well, kind of. He's genuinely just the nicest dude in the world. Like, do you remember when we were there? Real quick, not to digress, but he actually held a ring for the guy to propose to the woman. Remember, and they were all celebrating. Do you remember that? I think you might have been in line to see Christian.
Yeah, because I don't remember seeing Foley. I think you did. Because you went off and you were seeing other people, and I was in a couple of lines.
Yeah, and then I said, "Screw it, I want to meet Christian too," and he gave me cuts and.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was. Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty cool though. He held the ring for the guy and proposed to her, and then he gave them free autographs and stuff. And
wow, that's nice. I can't think of a more markish way, and we're the main event marks, and I can't think of a more markish way to propose than freaking. That room was like stuffy and smelled like ass. That's
only because the bushwhacker who didn't wipe his hands or clean his hands after wiping his ass. But anyways,
that was one big reason.
That's got to be a weekly thing on our show, by the way. I think I found it.
Even when Corona's not such a worry anymore, never shake a bushwhacker's hand ever. Lord. The opening package is highlights of the Triple H Cactus Jack feud with clips of Foley's death matches over in Japan. We'll obviously talk more about this before the actual match.
Footage, I always wondered.
Yeah, they must have paid Onita or whoever the hell was owning that at the time. But Kurt Angle starts off the show with a promo, crapping on the New York Knicks. It's like I noticed that was like mostly in WWE was like the heel thing. They were like, "Oh, crap on the local team."
Dude, they still do it. Baron Corbin does it whenever he can. Well, not now, obviously, but he did it whenever he could.
Right.
But my favorite part of that promo goes, if I was to wait around for the Knicks to win something with Patrick Ewing, we'd probably be waiting forever.
Oh, man. But
I know you don't know basketball much, but seriously, they're I can say this now because it's okay now. They're like the Cleveland Browns. Like, they're very beloved, but man, they stink.
But I can see vendors walking right in front of Hardcam trying to sell cotton candy. Did you catch all this during this?
I did not.
Yeah,
I see quite a few. I see quite a few later. I don't see that at this moment.
Well, Kirk then says that he knows his mystery opponent is nervous about facing an undefeated American hero, and says to remember his 3 eyes. I remember when he was doing the 3 eyes gimmick. My dad hated it. Wasn't it intensity, integrity, and intelligence?
Yes.
Yeah. I have a Jack figure of this Kurt Angle.
Is that not a message you want to send to your kid, though? I mean, come on.
It is, but it's like so pompous.
You knew it, though.
The lights then drop, the heart monitor beeps, and Taz makes his WWF debut and the crowd absolutely loses their minds.
Boy, did they save this for the right arena or what?
Oh, yeah, man. They freaking lost their crap, and Taz said he was, like, super emotional during this time. And he said he even, like, talked to Paul Heyman before the match, and Paul wished him well and everything, and said he deserved
he was still getting the checks from Vince.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, this was... And oddly enough, Taz would go back to ECW for a 1-shot after this. So
technically a 2-shot, actually.
No, that's right, yeah, because he dropped the title after he won it. Weird. But anyway, it's Kurt Angle versus Taz. This went for 3 minutes, 16 seconds. These guys have a good, hard-hitting match with tons of suplexes. I know, shocker. Taz locks into Taz Mission and wins via Kurt passing out. King keeps screaming about how the Taz Mission is an illegal chokehold. Uncle Dave thinks that these two should have gotten more time, but he still gave it 2 stars. I did as well. What say you?
The mark in me is like, man, this is 5 stars. I loved it, but like the realist, 2 stars.
Yeah.
But I remember watching this when it happened, and I was aware of Taz, and I did lose it when he came out. So
I think I think he should have went further in WWE, but that's this different discussion. They weren't calling it anything at this point. They just called it a chokehold. I can't remember when they officially named it the Taz Mission, but I assume they.
I want to say it's the next night because Jim Ross says we've been told it's called the Taz Mission. So,
yeah, I assume they named it that, one, for marketing purposes, and two, because Kata Hajime is a little difficult to remember and spell. So, because if you remember, in ECW, it doesn't have a name. He just calls it the Kata Hajime.
Yeah, and Joey Styles could say it 10 times fast without flubbing it. It's crazy.
I know. It's like, man, that I assume they told Jim Ross it's called the Kata Hajime. He's like, yeah, I'm not saying that.
What's his name? Taz. It's a submission, right? Taz Mission. There, boom.
Yeah, right.
Give me my percentage of the cut from the shirts.
They quickly changed him big time as far as not major things, but they give him a new name for his finisher, and he doesn't do the survive if I let you thing anymore. It's, they changed it to the mood is about to change.
One thing I noticed too was they obviously took the singlet off and put him in that suit. That it looked like a jumpsuit, like a work suit.
Yeah.
Working on a car or something.
It was, where he wore track pants and then a button up shirt that he ripped the sleeves out of. I remember that. And sometimes he would wrestle in a t-shirt or something.
I believe he wrestled like that at WrestleMania, last at WrestleMania 17.
Yeah. I don't know why they changed him up so much. It's I thought the Survive If I Let You thing was over huge in ECW. I mean, because people knew it was coming and they'd repeat it. The mood is about to change didn't exactly get over. But hey, it was on a t-shirt.
That's because it didn't come out of a box.
Wow. But Kurt Angle won't wake up after the match, and the EMTs come down and stretcher him out. I don't remember any of this. I thought it was a really good touch.
On the network, let me ask you another question. Did they show the thing backstage with the doctor doing the test on him?
They did, yes.
Okay. Because I only asked because on the DVD it's labeled as DVD exclusive. So.
Oh, yeah, they actually have gone through to a lot of Attitude Era stuff. Because if anybody goes back and watches SummerSlam '98, which is in the archives, they have a couple of network exclusives on there, or DVD exclusives, whatever, on there as well. There's one where they're walking through before the main event. Pritchard, I think it was it was after the ladder match. They're following the Rock in the back, and you hear Bruce Pritchard yelling, "Taker, where's Taker? We need to find Taker." And I'm like, holy
crap,
know, dude!
He was out on the show. He was pissed because no one knew where he was.
Yeah,
on his podcast. I feel like I remember him saying that.
Yeah. What was with them? And people weren't ready at Gorilla when they were supposed to be. Well, Michael Cole was backstage for the Hardy Boys and Terry Runnels. This was after the Hardys won the TIT, Terry Invitational Tournament, which means I like how they had a whole tournament to determine that Terry was going to be somebody's manager. Why is, don't get me wrong. I mean, look at her. She's a prize like that. But it's why was her as your manager such a prize?
Has she led Goldust to success?
Sure. But Terry starts talking about how she's going to be going out to the ring for the match and whatever with the Hardys. And the Hardys say that it's going to be too dangerous and extreme out there, so they won't allow Terry to come out to the ring with them.
Did you catch the one part that they said where he said we're not even supposed to be in the WWE? What the hell does that mean? I'm
assuming that, they're small, good-looking, high-flying guys that, Vince usually passed on in the past. It's the only thing I can think of. I mean, Jericho, they always said it's Jericho wasn't even supposed to be a big name in the WWE, and he, smashed through the glass ceiling for himself. That's the only thing I can think of.
God, please keep that up with Adam Cole. Anyways, go on.
Right. But up next, we get the Dudley Boys coming out to the ring first. And they cut a promo before the match where Bubba is still kind of doing his stuttering gimmick, although you can tell he's losing it. And
it's about to end.
I don't know what of all the ECW tropes of theirs that you can bring back. Why that one?
I don't understand. Well, okay, it's the Attitude Era. I mean, obviously they wouldn't do it today for obvious reasons. I'm like, man, even I was like, that's messed up.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I thought he really had the stutter. Okay, so
yeah.
So like, okay, in that respect, it's actually cool that they let him on TV. Then I found out it's not. I'm like, that's pretty messed up.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, he did the stuttering gimmick for a while in ECW, and then he had talked about it in interviews. He was like, yeah, I hadn't done the stuttering gimmick in like 2 or 3 years, and suddenly I get to the WWF, and they're like, oh, you're going to stutter, and I'm like, why? Like, nobody even remembers that. They're like, yeah,
clearly someone did.
Yeah. Ugh, thank God this didn't last.
Not to defend it, but it was part of what helped them be a thing in WWE. So, it served a purpose, like it or not.
Yeah. But, yeah, he says that his new hero is John Rocker.
Go Google it.
Yeah. I specifically remember you and I talking about Vince Russo later this year, I believe, cut a promo on John Rocker in New York, saying that if he ever sees him, he's going to kill him or something like that. Because what team did he play for?
The Braves, I believe.
Okay, yeah, he played for the Braves. And
what was the Indians?
I believe it was the Braves. And that's why it was I think it was a big thing in Atlanta, when he did. Because weren't they talking about possibly trading him to the Yankees? And that's when he went off on that promo.
Yeah, something about being on a subway and sitting next to somebody that has AIDS and any racist terms for Indian folks, I believe. And
yeah, he went off and talking about mothers, mothers having kids out of wedlock with, whatever, and sleeping around.
Okay, let's be honest. That's probably the least of the things he said.
It is, but that's just, that's another thing. And, just completely crapping on New York.
I'm like, if you're just going to say that, you can just throw off as, you have your moral values. That's fine, whatever. But when it became racist, I'm like, wow, dude, that's...
Yeah, he went off on everybody and everything and just buried New York in every way imaginable. And it was...
And I have it on good authority that Jim Cornette loved that.
Oh, I'm sure he did. He came out of a box on the baseball field. Batter's box.
New York sucks.
Good Lord. But anyway, yeah, he says that John Rocker should be the new mayor of New York. And this all ends with Bubba telling the Hardys to put their heads between their legs and kiss their asses goodbye. This was
hell of a vision or visual.
He was trying to do the old ECW, cutting like a promo crapping on everybody before the match thing, but he obviously toned it way down. Go back now in the archives, Heatwave 99, go check it out. This match is a tag team tables match, the Dudley Boys versus the Hardy Boys. It went for about 10.5 minutes. Tables, ladders, and chairs are all used. Matt gets eliminated when the Dudleys prop up a table on the steel steps in the ring, and then Bubba hits a top rope powerbomb through it. But the rules of the match are, even though he's eliminated, he doesn't have to leave. He's still in the match. He just doesn't have to get put through another table.
Yeah, I never got that either.
Yeah, it's weird. But the match ends with Jeff nailing Bubba with a chair, knocking him off of the arena balcony, what you were talking about, you sat on top of. He falls off of that through a table in the entryway, and then Matt lays Devon on another table in the entryway, and Jeff does that famous jump off the balcony for a swanton bomb through the table. This is awesome.
Guarantee everyone's seen that famous one because they played it in every highlight package ever.
Yep, that one and the one where he comes off the giant ladder.
And literally breaks his ass. Yes.
That's sad. This one, Uncle Dave gave it 3 1/4 stars. I gave it an even 3 stars. What say you?
Okay, I judge this as a table match.
Mm-hmm.
So, keep that in mind. So I'm going to say it was 4 stars for a table match.
Yeah, I mean, it was really entertaining. These guys never had a bad match with each other.
No, and their best one is 8 months away? 7 months. 7 months.
Yeah. I mean, at WrestleMania 2000, they would have a really great one. Probably the best match on the card. And, well, not probably, it is the best match on the card. But
I disagree. There is one better, but we won't get into that.
Oh, okay. What was it to you?
The triple threat with Jericho and Benoit and Angle.
Oh, okay. Never mind. You're right. That one was the best one on the card. It was the second best. Here's where we see Kurt Angle backstage being checked up on by the EMTs. Kurt keeps asking if he won. When he's told that he was choked out, he says, "Chokes are illegal, so I'm still undefeated." So,
I like that he was saying, right? Like the EMT's gonna, verify it.
Yeah, right. And he's like, "I don't know about that. I'm just checking you out." He's like, "You were choked out." He's like, "Yeah, but I won, right?" He's like, "I don't know anything about that." I thought the conversation seemed legit, like something that, like the EMT was.
I was like, insanely legit.
Yeah, because EMTs would respond in a way like that. So,
where do you get an EMT like that?
I'm assuming EMTs are us, but I mean that's neither here nor there. We get this now. We're introduced to our bikini contest judges: Sergeant Slaughter, Tony Gurria, the Fabulous Moolah, Johnny V, and Classy Freddie Blassie. The Master of Ceremonies is Jerry the King Lawler.
Because, of course.
Yeah, got to get the most pervy guy in the entire world to do this. The participants are Ivory, who makes it very well known that she does not want to be doing this, Terry Runnels, Jacqueline, Barbara Bush, not the politician's wife, for the president's wife.
Pretty sure former wife of Bob Hawley.
Oh, well, lucky him. I was like, I don't remember Barbara Bush at all.
They just called her BB.
Yeah. And then Luna, who is no longer Luna Vachon, just Luna. And WWF Women's Champion, The Cat, which was that's an embarrassment to that title. But regardless.
Let's be real, that's not the biggest embarrassment of that title, but embarrassment, yes.
Andy Richter from the Conan O'Brien Show is now introduced as the special guest judge. I was like, of all the people, you're like, Andy Richter.
You couldn't just get Conan?
Yeah, maybe Conan's not that big of a perv. I don't know. Well, if you're going to get Andy Richter, you might as well bring in the masturbating bear. I mean, come on. This is a perfect place for it.
Holy crap. Vince Russo would have.
Right. Yeah, he probably would have pushed for it. Bro, we got to get the masturbating bear.
And pushed him.
Right. He's going to win the hardcore title, bro.
Hardcore bear watching hardcore porn is going to win the hardcore title, bro.
Hardcore masturbating bear. But after everyone drops their robes to reveal themselves, Mae Young comes out in a pink robe to say that the contest isn't over yet because she's in it. She tells the king that everyone wants to see her puppies, and she disrobes. And then she starts dancing around. She's in like a one-piece like bathing suit thing. JR's commentary, I said, is the best thing about this entire segment. He is hilarious. May then decides she's going to get naked, and the king acts like he's witnessing his own mother being brutally murdered in front of him.
I don't have much to add to this because I skipped this, honestly. Because honestly, on the DVD, full disclosure, it's not censored.
No, it's not. I've seen it, and I was like, "Mother, I was not prepared."
I'm not watching this.
No, I was not prepared for that. It's obviously censored on the network. They're not going to show nudity, but like the king, like cowers in the corner, is like, I'm like, holy crap, dude. Ivory acts incredibly disgusted as well. Mark Henry runs out to cover up Mae Young, and the judges rule that Mae won the contest because.
What happens after they rule she won?
I don't know. What is she?
If I remember correctly, she goes to celebrate and it happens again.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she gets naked again. Mark Henry's covering her up like, no, I don't want anybody else to see your puppies. Like, we don't want to see it either, Mark.
That guy was a freak.
Yeah. We then switch.
I thought we're judging.
We then switch to WWF New York, where Jonathan Coachman is being pushed and pulled around by various New Yorkers. He seems super annoyed at this, by the way, because he can't really do anything other than stand there and take it. Which
I feel like this was his debut, by the way.
And he even lets us, because they introduce him as Jonathan Coachman, but he punches home that when he signs off, he says the coach. So he's letting us know that's his nickname. We go backstage where Chyna and Chris Jericho are arguing over who will wear the Intercontinental title to the ring until Dave Hebner rushes in and takes the title and says it will be at ringside. This was when they were co-champions. I can't remember what happened here. I know they pinned
each other.
Okay. Good Lord.
Why that doesn't become a draw and it just goes to the champion, I don't know.
Yeah.
Logic.
Chris Jericho cuts promo before the match saying Jerichoholics will have a huge celebration when he wins the Intercontinental title. This match is Chyna versus Chris Jericho versus Hardcore Holly in a triple threat for the Intercontinental title. Goes for 7.5 minutes. I said this match would have been 5 times better without Chyna. Chyna eventually locks in a Boston Crab on Hardcore Holly, but Jericho hits Chyna with a facebuster out of it, nails a Lionsault, and pins her for the win. Uncle Dave gave it 1 1/4 star. I gave it 2 stars for below average. What say you?
I wanted to give it 1, but it's like, I was kind of entertained. I'll give it 2. But man, this match was not good. Since he's in it, whole thing sucked.
Whole thing sucked. Jericho tried. Holly tried. Man, Chyna wasn't good, man. Like, as a kid, I didn't really pay attention. I was like, whatever, But, like, looking back on it, like, dude, you really were not good enough to be in the ring with people like Chris Jericho and Hardcore Holly. Like, in no universe was she good enough. And I'm not trying to crap on somebody who's dead, but it's just, like, they should have put their foot down with her. And it's like, no.
Yeah, right.
Michael Cole is standing by with a Rock backstage to talk about the Royal Rumble match. The Rock says that the 2 superstars he's most concerned about in the match are Crash Holly, and Headbanger Mosh.
Dude, I knew that was coming, and I swear I still laughed my ass off when I watched it back.
Yeah. I love that jersey he's wearing, by the way.
I do too. Could we just acknowledge, by the way, how much he just like completely buried the hell out of both those guys?
He did that a lot back then. Like, him and Triple H were like the masters of completely burying the crap out of people.
Well, what he did in the ring, Rock did on the mic. I don't think he gets enough for that. Let's remember that.
Cole asks if The Rock should be more concerned with the Big Show, leading The Rock to shove him away and take the microphone. And he proceeds to layeth the verbal smackdown on the Big Show. This was some good stuff. This was when, the Big Show had popped up, February of the previous year?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was still, sorry for a pun here, but he was still a big deal. And Bonafide main eventer was, not to spoil anything, but he's about to main event WrestleMania. So, well, he was in the main event of WrestleMania, I'll say that.
All right.
We get a video package now about how the New Age Outlaws and the Acolytes have been beating the hell out of each other for weeks on Raw is War and SmackDown. So we get the New Age Outlaws defending the WWF Tag Team titles against the Acolytes of Farouk and Bradshaw. This was, when did they officially become the APA?
I'm going to say it's like right after this, right around this period. They might already be doing it.
Yeah, because
it's after the Undertaker leaves, so.
Yeah, because they're basically the APA already, but they're not they're not really. They're still calling themselves just the Acolytes. But, and you know what the APA does, Greg? They're always pounding ass.
Oh, my God. That was a real shirt.
That's like a highly regrettable catchphrase.
They couldn't say whooping or what?
I know. It's like always pounding ass. Like, it had the same meaning in 2000 as it does now. Maybe that was the point. I don't know. But this went for 2.5 minutes. For some reason, yes, 2.5 minutes. I didn't stutter. For some reason, Billy Gunn is wearing see-through pink trunks, so you can see his dong. God. The Acolytes jump the Outlaws right away and beat him up. Bradshaw hits a clothesline from hell on Billy. Farouk hits the 110th Street Slam on Road Dogg. Then Billy pulls Tim White out of the ring before he can make the 3 count. That's not wise.
I don't know. It's very wise. He stopped the count.
Bradshaw hits Billy and bumps the ref. This allows X-Pac to run in and take out Bradshaw. Farouk takes out X-Pac with a spine buster, and then Billy hits the Fameasser, real name, on Bradshaw for the win. That was basically the whole match right there. Uncle Dave gave this a dud, but I gave it 2 stars. What say you?
2 stars?
It was an entertaining 2.5 minutes. I might give it 1.5. I don't know. What say you?
1.
Did you hate it?
I think yes, I hated it. I think they do way better stuff actually in the Rumble match itself.
Yeah. It was clearly the Acolytes were not paid by the hour tonight, because we'll get to it in the Rumble, but it's just, my God. But here's what we're all here to see besides the Rumble match itself, man. We get a video package of Triple H and Stephanie McMahon taking over the WWF. They fire Mankind on Raw is War, and then they mock an impersonator of Mankind on SmackDown. After that, the entire roster threatens to walk out if they don't hire Mick Foley back.
Okay, first of all, it was a pink slip on a pole. They didn't fire him. He just didn't keep his job. Second of all, I believe that Mankind imposter was Naked Midian. Just got to point that out.
Good grief. Speaking of which, I almost sent you a picture. Davey Boy Smith Jr. posed with clothed Midian at a convention recently. Yeah, it took me a minute. I was like, "Who the hell is that guy? He looks really familiar," because he's bald with a goatee now. And I'm like, oh, that's Non-Naked Midian. That's his new name, Non-Naked Midian. But anyway.
And yes, by the way, there was something on a pole match post-Russo. Just got to point that out, too.
Hell yeah. Triple H hires Mankind back, and he grants him a WWF title match at the Royal Rumble before beating the tar out of him and just making him a bloody mess. Mankind then says that Mankind is not ready to face Triple H in a street fight, but Cactus Jack is. He then proceeds to beat the crap out of Triple H. This, by the way, I was today years old when I noticed this. This is the second time that Triple H has brought Cactus Jack to the WWF.
Both times in Madison Square Garden, too.
I know. Isn't this weird? Like, I never thought about that before. I'm like, both times, Mankind, or Mick Foley was like, Mankind isn't ready for you, but Cactus Jack is.
Well, the first time it was Dude Love wasn't ready.
Oh, okay. But neither was Mankind, because he was in that promo. So they were like, well, we know somebody who's, who can go toe-to-toe with you. But this was a street fight for the WWF Heavyweight Championship of the World. Triple H defends against Cactus Jack. It went for just shy of 27 minutes. They brawl into the crowd, up the aisle. Triple H gets thrown into a pile of bricks laying there in the alleyway of the aisle, which, again, I thought was a great little touch, along with the graffiti. And Cactus Jack suplexes Triple H onto a wood pallet. This splits Triple H's calf open. They did not put I remember this from either the VHS or DVD, one of the two. But they did not put this on the network. But they actually show him like laying on his stomach watching the Rumble match while getting his legs sewed up in the back.
Yeah, and begging someone to go tell his parents he's okay. That was on the DVD.
Oh, I forgot about that part. I just remember him watching the Rumble while he's getting sewed up. I was like, ugh. And like, because I didn't realize where he got split open, but he's like talking about it. But Triple H pulls out a barbed wire wrapped 2x4 and beats a crap out of Cactus Jack with it. Am I the only one surprised that Triple H introduced that into the match?
Kind of, yeah. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah. Jack beats up the Spanish commentators for reasons, I guess, because he's crazy. Triple H bumps the ref, and Jack beats up Triple H with barbed wire 2x4 now, busting him wide open. The ref wakes up to count a near fall, but Jack continues to tear Triple H apart with the barbed wire 2x4. Triple H eventually handcuffs Cactus Jack's hands behind his back and beats him up. I said, it's so pathetic that they're ripping off a clearly superior show in Sold Out 2000 where Terry Funk handcuffed Crowbar. Oh my God. I'm sorry
for that.
I'm sorry, I had to. They make reference to, this was a repeat from the previous Royal Rumble where The Rock handcuffed Mankind and mercilessly just pounded the hell out of his head with a chair. In the entryway, The Rock comes down and blasts Triple H with a chair. Both men are down, and a cop unlocks Cactus Jack's handcuffs. I thought that was a cool touch. Mankind introduces a bag of thumbtacks into the ring, because of course he does, as Stephanie McMahon comes down to distract Jack. Triple H back body drops Cactus into the tacks, and then pedigrees him for a near fall. I forgot the ending of this match, so I was like, oh wow, that wasn't it. Triple H then hits a pedigree into the thumbtacks for the win. I said for a hardcore style match, this is pretty much perfect. Uncle Dave said that this was a legit match of the year candidate and probably should have closed the show. He gave it 4.5 stars. I gave it 5 stars. What say you?
I as well gave it 5 stars. Thought this was amazing.
This is.
They have another 5-star match the next month, by the way, too. It's crazy.
Was that the Hell in a Cell?
Yeah,
I'm mixed up. Okay, I got to go back and watch that one because I don't know if I've ever seen that one actually. I've seen clips of it. I don't know if I've ever watched the full match start to finish. But yeah, man, this was just fantastic. This was a masterclass in how to have a wrestling match that's also a hardcore match and make it really damn good.
It wasn't all about weapons, It's like, and right. Just like the sake of busting people open.
Well, they were wrestling each other, but they were also using weapons to enhance the wrestling and making it brutal at the same time. There was tons of blood, tons of violence, but they were also really good wrestlers. It wasn't just like...
Yeah, well, one thing, not to talk about today's stuff, but like they were calling that parking lot brawl the best street fight, whatever, ever, like match ever.
Oh, yeah, best parking lot brawl of all time.
Well, they call it the best like hardcore style. Because the best parking lot brawl, that does not cover a lot of ground. That would have been like, oh, whatever. I'm like, are you serious right now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this right here is the best one ever.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought that was really good. But yeah, no, this was great. It had everything it needed. Triple H gets stretchered out of the arena, but Cactus Jack follows him to the back and stretchers Triple H back to the ring, dumping him out and beating him up some more, and then blasts Triple H in the head with a barbed wire 2x4 and glares at Stephanie McMahon. That was awesome. And it was like, man, Cactus got his heat back after that one, man.
I remember being really on the fence with this, who I wanted to win.
Yeah.
I'm obviously a huge Triple H fan, but I love Cactus Jack.
And obviously this was like years later when Mankind, or Mick Foley rather, was well past his prime. But I thought him and Orton had a really good hardcore match, but I feel like they were trying to do something similar to this, and there was no possible way it could have lived up to this. No way. So Orton was really young. Cactus was, well, like I said, over the
really
hill.
Old.
So, yeah. So, it was really good. It just wasn't this. Nothing, I don't know. This is probably my favorite hardcore match of all time. And they weren't using weapons to hide anything. Like Sandman uses weapons because he can't wrestle. I don't know.
I would have used New Jack as the example, but
that too. We go back to WWF New York, where Jonathan Coachman is standing by with WWF CEO Linda McMahon. She says things with Triple H and the WWF title will be handled, quote, the McMahon way. Yes, with a McMahon in every corner. But we'll get to that. They say, and there's even promotional material showing Chris Jericho in place of Mick Foley. But apparently they decided at the last minute, we'd rather have Foley instead of Jericho. We don't know if he's a big enough star yet. So they swapped him out. Which, I think Jericho would have made the match better. But at the same time...
No, he wouldn't have. That match was horrible.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to disagree. And I'm a huge Jericho fan. But it's kind of hard to disagree that Mick Foley was the bigger star at the time. So, I don't know. Just my opinion. But... either way, let's take our second to last break here. When we come back, it's the 30-man Royal Rumble match.
Follow the Main Event Marks at Facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
All right, main event time. It's the 30-man Royal Rumble match. This went for 51 minutes, 49 seconds. D'Lo Brown is number 1, and Grandmaster Sexay is number 2. Here's the show you always quote, because Jerry Lawler says, he was talking about Grandmaster Sexay. He said, I thought he was luckier than this. And JR says, Greg's favorite line of, well, I heard he had a bad break at birth, but that's just a rumor. Oh, man. Someone in the front row on hard cam has a sign that says, "Tom is gay."
Yeah. I was like, how did that not even get blurred? I mean, like,
I know. They don't edit anything. I mean, they edit some things, but they don't edit a whole lot on the network. They kind of just let it fly, which I personally love. But this sign would not even get into the building today. I mean, if people were allowed in the building, you know what I mean?
Who's Tom, by the way? Is that the guy from...
He knew.
From what's that called before Facebook? What was that?
Oh, MySpace.
Yeah. Is that his name, Tom?
Yes. People always do that. Like when Mark Zuckerberg does something stupid, they're like, you know what? We never got this kind of crap from Tom.
Oh, man.
The Rock's most feared adversary, headbanger Mosh, is number 3. And he comes out with fuzzy cones on his chest, like Madonna.
This is the one I wish Mattel would make a leech of.
Oh, well, yeah. But
I like how they even joke, hey, The Rock picked this guy to win this whole thing.
Yeah. Was this before or after Beaver Cleavage?
This was after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kaientai rushes down and gets beat up. Christian is number 4 with a huge ovation. I was shocked about that one. Apparently he was getting over.
Oh, they were still huge faces until Sunday Night Heat of WrestleMania 16. So there you go.
Wow. The fans blow for number 5, Rikishi, who eliminates Mosh, Christian, and D'Lo. Scotty 2 Hotties number 6, and Too Cool convinces Rikishi to have a dance break with them before Rikishi eliminates them both before dancing again. The camera makes sure to zoom in on Rikishi's ass, by the way. I don't know if you caught that one.
Yeah.
Number 7, Steve Blackman is next. Rikishi tosses him before number 8, Viscera, comes out. After 3 super kicks, Rikishi finally eliminates Viscera before Big Boss Man comes out number 9. He sits outside until he's jumped by number 10, Test, who the crowd explodes for. That one shocked me because I didn't remember him being that over. The British Bulldog's number 11. Gangrel's number 12. I guess, by the way, the significance of British Bulldog, I guess this was the first pay-per-view of the WWF shown live over in England. So, I don't know. I guess this was a huge get. Kaientai runs down again, gets beaten up again. Number 13 is Edge, drawing a huge reaction. King says that he wants to see footage of that little Chinese guy, Taka Michinoku, being thrown out by the Big Boss Man one more time.
Yeah, I made a note of that.
And he keeps calling them the little Chinese guys, and JR keeps saying they're Japanese. He's like, whatever. Something else that wouldn't fly in 2020 or 2021, I guess. So for those that don't remember this, it's a famous clip. Boss Man chucks both of them out, and he throws Taka over the top rope. Taka front flips and busts his face on the padding outside the ring, and he has to get rushed to the hospital. I think he has a pretty damn bad concussion.
Medical facility.
They actually, I was shocked at that one too. They kept repeatedly saying hospital. I'm like, wow. You'd never hear the word hospital on WWE TV now. Bob Backlund enters number 14 to thunderous cheers. That one blew me away.
I forgot he was in this. I was like, wow, what the hell?
Conrad gave Bruce Pritchard crap about that one. He's like, why the hell in 2000 did you have Bob Backlund in the Royal Rumble? He's like, well, we were in MSG. He's a big legend there. He's like, yeah. And
he was running for office in Connecticut. Remember, he even said that after he gets eliminated. Jim Ross like, Connecticut registered voters, we looking for you.
Yeah, Mr. Backlund. It takes 6 men to eliminate Rikishi. Number 15 is the future Le Champion, Chris Jericho, who eliminates Bob Backlund.
Of all the stuff, you choose that.
What? He is Le Champion.
Lord.
Crash Holly, who is allegedly well over 400 pounds, enters at number 16 and he literally gets paddled by Edge over the top rope like he's a misbehaved child. Good Lord. China is number 17 and suplexes Jericho out of the match before Boss Man eliminates China. Farouk enters 18. The Mean Street Posse rushed the ring. I completely forgot about them. And they beat Farouk up before leaving, allowing the Boss Man to toss Farouk. That's what I said. He's not paid by the hour. Road Dogg is number 19. The crowd starts chanting that they want Rocky. You can tell who the star of this match is. Al Snow, without any gimmicks whatsoever, is number 20. And 21 is... Yeah, and number 21 is Val Venus. Funaki runs in again because Taka's gone, and he gets chased off. We find out that Taka has been taken to the hospital at this point after being knocked out. Prince Albert is number 22.
Real name.
As Edge gets eliminated, King starts talking about his piercings, and
because of course.
Yeah. Number 23 is Hardcore Holly. Number 24 is finally The Rock, and the crowd is on their feet. The Rock eliminates Big Boss Man right away. Billy Gunn is number 25. The Rock eliminates Crash Holly. Well, there's another one of my picks gone. Number 26 is The Big Show, who eliminates Test and Gangrel right away. Bradshaw is number 27, and the Mean Street Posse jump him, or they try to jump him, but he beats the ever-loving hell out of them and tosses them. And then the Outlaws team up to toss Bradshaw. Farouk then comes out, and the Acolytes both beat the crap out of the Mean Street Posse in the backstage area. Because, if there's one feud in 2000 I was aching to see, it was the Acolytes and Mean Street Posse.
Man.
Number 28 is Kane, who enters with Tori. No, not Wilson. Kane tosses Val Venus right away. Godfather is number 29 as Kane eliminates Prince Albert. Funaki runs in again as King refers to him as the little Chinese guy yet again. And Al Snow tosses him, of all people. Finally, number 30 is X-Pac. Look, I love X-Pac, but that's not exactly holy crap, number 30 is X-Pac.
Yeah, right.
Hardcore Holly, then the Godfather, and finally Al Snow all get tossed. Billy Gunn tosses the Road Dogg, and Kane eliminates Billy Gunn before the Outlaws pull Kane outside and beat him up. The Rock tosses X-Pac sky high over the top rope, but the referee didn't see this. He's being distracted by the brawl outside the ring, so X-Pac just gets right. He spin kicks Kane out of the ring before Big Show press slams X-Pac outside. Man, he was just there to take bumps, I guess. Big Show attempts to power slam the Rock out of the ring, but the Rock finally, he holds on to the top rope, and he dumps the Big Show out over the top rope for the win. Uncle Dave gave this 2 3/4 stars. I actually thought it was damn entertaining. I gave it 3. What say you?
I gave it 4. I love this one.
It was really good Rumble. I really enjoyed it. The Rock grabs a mic after the match to tell the crowd how he's going to WrestleMania if we smell what he's cooking, but the Big Show runs in, cuts him off, and he beats him down. Then he tosses him over the top rope. So the Big Show, again, gets his heat back after a big loss. The Rock is going to WrestleMania. Was the thing afterwards that they said that the Rock's feet actually touched outside when he eliminated Big Show?
So, from my knowledge, it wasn't supposed to happen, but his feet hit, so they ran with it. But his feet did touch first.
I don't know. They had to have had something in mind for it with and they just used that as an out because I don't know. Like with the way they shot it, they purposely couldn't see his feet, so they could have just said, "Nah, he eliminated him. He's good, clean elimination." I wouldn't have minded seeing Triple H versus The Rock 1-on-1 to close out WrestleMania. I thought that would have been awesome, but
that's what it should have been.
Yeah, that Mick Foley and Big Show filling out that match, it's just like, why? They just wanted to get more McMahons in there, I guess.
I mean, all McMahons.
Yeah, right. All right, well, that's the end of the show. We're going to take one final break. When we come back, it's the final ratings of the show. We'll tell you what's coming up in the next week.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
All right, we're back from break. We're in the final ratings here. IMDb gave this show 8.1 out of 10. CageMatch.net gave it 8.22 out of 10. I gave it 8.5 out of 10. What say you?
I gave it a B-.
Yeah, I mean, the card, like top to bottom, isn't a banger, but there were enough good things on the show where I thought it was I mean, especially for a Royal Rumble card, it was really good, I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely in my top 5 favorite Rumbles.
Top 5.
Fave 5. Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed this one. I enjoyed the one we covered 2 weeks ago, which was 1990. Go back to the archives, check that out, and see the
Apparently
big difference.
A lot of you already have.
Yeah, we got really good numbers on that one. Thank you for that one. Keep pumping it up. Go back. It's Golden Era. See how things changed from the Golden Era 1990s Rumble to the Attitude Era 2000 Rumble. And we're not done. This Friday, actually, I'm going to have Jacob Grandi on the podcast for the bonus show of the month. We're going to throw you a freaking bonus here. It's WWF Royal Rumble 1988. It's the very first Royal Rumble. I'm not expecting this one to hold up to 1990 or 2000, but it's a fun look back. So, I mean, that's nothing wrong with that.
It's a fun look, bro.
Yeah, speaking of fun looks, we're closing out the month, January 27th. We're going to go to the land of extreme. We're covering ECW's Guilty as Charged 1999.
Does anybody else see the irony of a show for ECW being called Guilty as Charged?
Wow. Yeah, that's...
I feel like it's a metaphor for their whole ECW lifespan.
Good grief. I'm not touching that one. But this was this was not a terrible main event to the show, I would say. We got Taz and Shane Douglas for the ECW title in a match that went like 22 minutes. Just Incredible and Tommy Dreamer in a Stairway to Hell match. Van Dam versus Lance Storm. I mean, I'm actually looking forward to watching this.
Yeah, it was a good show.
And Sid Vicious is oddly enough on this show. I mean, not for long, but he's on the show. Not to spoil anything, but
oh no.
Well, and then we get a Tajiri versus Super Crazy match. That was a huge feud for them. But
I never see that enough. I'm surprised Nunzio wasn't in it, or Guido.
Well, he's actually in the opening match. Him and Tracy Smothers. They're taking on your favorite team and mine, the Chair Swinging Freaks.
Didn't we just bury them?
Yeah. Axel Rotten and Balls Mahoney, who actually had a lot in common, more than just chairs. But yeah, the Dudley Boys are taking on New Jack and Spike Dudley. Oh boy! How much you want to bet they're just going to brawl through the crowd? There's going to be a lot of people bleeding. Music is going to play throughout the whole match.
I don't take sure things. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a pretty safe bet. But all right, that's coming up on the show. Thank you for joining me today, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
We got some more 2000 coming your way in the future. Stay tuned.